I'm Sari Cohen with Awards Buzz. Amber, Luke, it's so good to be hanging out with you today talking about this film. Amber, I want to start with you and your connection to this film. Can you just briefly walk me through your journey from bringing this to the book, to Sundance, and now to Disney Plus?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, when I first got the script, I thought, I don't have lived experience with cerebral palsy, so I shouldn't direct this film. And then I realized, well, wait a minute, I do. I really connect to the struggle, the journey that the parents are on, Chuck and Diane. I have children and I have had to advocate for them and fight for them and stop schools from literally breaking the law to get my children the things that they needed in order to learn properly. And so that was my kind of way in, and then I got the book and my daughter read the book, and my daughter has dyslexia. And at the time, that was when she was really struggling with overcoming, the how hard it is to learn to read. And she was able to read this book from start to finish, which was her first book that she completed like that. And so it then became really special to me. I mean, it was always special, but it just like, it will always have a special place on our shelf. And the more I got invested, the more I realized that I was lucky to get to do this, that working on this film was going to change my life and change my perspective and change how I not only understand disability and neurodiversity and communication, but how I understand humanity and the vast array of different kinds of people and different ways of communication that we have on this planet. So I feel so lucky to have gotten this job because no joke, like I'm not just saying this, it changed my life for the better. It made me a better person, and it made me enjoy being a human more than I did before I made the movie.
I love that. Luke, watching you, you do a really amazing job at bringing the complexity of this character to life on the screen. What was it for you in reading the book or reading the script that really jumped off the page that was important for you to portray?
I felt, in talking with Amber about, diving into the journey, it was sort of exploring what parents are up against, and how they're what they yearn for their children, and how difficult that can be, how difficult it can be to give them the world that every parent knows that their child deserves, the best of everything. And that's not how the world works. So that fight, that determination, was very appealing, and a lot of curb appeal.
And you wanted to be the good guy.
And I wanted to be the good guy because I'm not. I'm never the good guy.
Uh, yeah, I loved him in this. I mean, you really did, like
Thank
I
you.
said, an excellent job.
Luke can do anything. He can
Yeah.
do. He is, seriously, he is. I think everyone should hire him. He is amazing and wonderful.
I agree.
Oh, shucks.
I feel like too, just in watching this, the at the heart of this, it's a story about strength and inspiration. I mentioned this before. My mom's an occupational therapist, so she actually spent her whole life working with kids like Melody. I want to hear from the both of you if there was ever anybody in your life who really fought for you at a time that you needed it the most.
That is a really hard question. You have to go first, Luke.
In terms of, what I do for work and for a living professionally, all of that, it's traceable to, my earliest teachers. I feel like I kind of went into this job because I thought it would provide me some kind of continuing of an education, because it would keep allowing me to stay curious. And so I do often think uh, on my teachers and just how lucky I was to have, a certain few who clearly took the time to just take that extra step. Wasn't necessarily even I didn't see it at the time as encouragement, but I did see people opening doors for me, um, that I didn't know were available or that I didn't know existed. And so, you know,
You're making me think of my teacher when I was younger, Freddie Hollins. She was like my drama teacher when I was a kid, and she was the first person who said to me, like, you have talent, you can do that, you can. And that really changed my life. That made me feel like, oh, wait, because obviously your parents tell you they love you and you have talent and but to have somebody outside of your family who, when you're a kid, you see them as a professional in the world, tell you that you have skill is really powerful and meaningful. And I was saying this in a Q&A actually at Mill Valley a couple weeks ago that, you know, if there are kids if you're a teacher of any sort, or there are kids in your life, reach out to them and tell them that you see something special in them, because I do think it is really important, that children get that external voice. I'm not saying we should look for validation outside of us. I don't mean that. That's a whole other conversation. But what I do mean is that, having an adult in your life say, wow, you're really skilled at this, you should continue to work hard at this, is powerful and is meaningful. And I know, as a parent, it's something that my kids are 11 and 13 now, and they haven't had that experience. They haven't, it's a different world, but they haven't had that experience of a teacher really focusing on them and telling them, wow, this is really special. And I do worry about that. So if either of you guys meet my kids, just tell them that they're, but I think I hope that everybody gets that experience of looking back on their life and having at least one person tell them that the thing that you're trying so hard to do, that you're working so hard at, has meaning and has value, and you should continue.
Absolutely. It's a message we can all take with us. Thank you both so much for everything today. It was such a pleasure getting to meet you.
you too. Thank you, sir.